interested in this. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say I'm asked.
He didn't plug it in there. He plugged it back there.
How are you?
But she's not really a guest to this center. This is her home center. Most of us know her. So we just have a few announcements before we have Sister come up and speak to us. Okay? So this is a message from Dr. Reddy. Dr. Reddy is the chairman of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization. Dr. Reddy was selected by Swami himself to lead the organization that Swami founded himself, and that we're so fortunate and grateful to be a part of. Right? So this is a message I'll read. We celebrate Sri Sathya Sai Aradhana on the 24th, which is tomorrow, of April, every year, expressing our love and gratitude for the grace, guidance, and blessings we receive from him. Bhagavan has said on numerous occasions that he will never forsake or disappoint his devotees. If we only hold on to him with absolute faith and love him with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength, he will guard us, protect us, and take us across the ocean of life. So on that note, I'm sure Sister Panna will follow up with more on Aradhana and the significance and how we can make this occasion meaningful in our daily lives, right? So next week we have a study circle, but it's online. We actually, just to remind you, we meet here every first and third Thursday of the month. This month is an exception because we wanted to celebrate Aradhana close to the date. So next week we're online with Brother Tom Rupke, and May 7th in person we'll be celebrating Ishwarama Day with SSC girls dancing from Flushing. So please join us. And this is more on Aradhana celebrations this week. This is all the centers are joining with the Flushing, who's hosting at the Hanuman Mandir Temple in Queens. It's an all-day event from 8 to 5 p.m. So you can please join. At the end of this, you can get the addresses and contacts, instead of me reading them out, okay? Wait a minute. I'll go back to that. We also have an online program that will be on the 24th Friday, Aradhana Day, by Dr. Reddy, the significance of Aradhana, right? So that's on the YouTube channel. So we mailed all this out in the announcements. Okay. And another Aradhana celebration by the Metropolitan Center. That's Saturday after the Flushing that ends at 5 or 6, and Aradhana celebration at the Metropolitan Center here on 30th Street at the Bhakti Marga, the new location, from 6:30 to 8:30. You can contact Sister Norlina or any one of us, and we'll give you more information. Next. And Krishna will tell us about the retreat.
Sidon brothers and sisters, be the light, share the light. That's the theme of the retreat this year. Each year, the retreat has been a spectacular transformation for everyone who attends. For the past couple of weeks, I've been sharing with you, whether in person or online, of my Sai miracles as well as other devotees that led up to the retreat in the past, throughout the retreat, and after the retreat. Many divine inspiration, miracles with everyone. It's transforming in so many ways, more than one. Even I've talked to you guys about Swami's sighting in the physical form at the retreat by many devotees, by non-devotees, walking in the dining hall, even around the campsite. Don't just take my word for it. Come, let's experience it together. For all the years I've been going, it has always been a transformative time for me. For the past over 10 years, let's indulge and enjoy it together. Registration is open. If you need help, please reach out to one of the officers, and we will help you with registration. Sathya.
Yes. So you can just quickly, it's in Camp Westmount, right? Pennsylvania, May 22nd to the 24th. That's Memorial Weekend. Yeah, and guest speakers. Wow. Yeah, we're going to have two alumni of Swami's, right? That's Sanjay Mahalingam and Aradhana Murali, two wonderful guest speakers with us for that weekend. And yeah, so next, Sadhana, you're going to speak on the sadhana?
Step with Sai, or sadhana. The region invite us to take part in the sadhana program, Step with Sai, leading up to the retreat as an offerings for Swami. It can be practiced individually, by self-transformation, or collectively for world peace. Taking reflective, mindful steps, as we do with Namasmarana, chanting the name of our chosen God, and chanting in a group with your Sai Center for world peace. Even if you are not attending the retreat, all are invited to take part in the sadhana and join.
Devotion coordinator. Yes, so Manhattan Center has young adult meetings every second and fourth Saturday of the month at 5 o'clock. You can contact Sister Chandra. She'll be here, I'm sure, later. Yeah, she's not here right now. Or you can contact Anjan, okay, for further details on that. Next. And Bowery Food Service every Saturday. This is a long time service that has been going on, and now Sister Norlina is the coordinator. So they meet every Saturday, serve probably up to 150 to 200 people sometimes, and it's every morning. And if you'd like to participate by bringing food or serving, just show up and join in the wonderful energy. Just contact Norlina or Anjan, who is our service coordinator. And Kola Hospital visit, it's once a month. It's usually every last Saturday of the month. We visit the patients there and celebrate their birthdays. Okay, so it's a beautiful event. Yeah. So if you'd like to join in on that, or if you play an instrument, or if you know anyone that would like to come with their instruments and join, please speak to Chi or myself or Anjan. Thank you. Okay, now for what everybody was looking forward to, Sister Aparna. I actually, like I said, she's no guest to us, right? Most of us know her. And this is her home center. She started here at the Manhattan Center, another location, of course. And I remember the first talk she gave as a member, and it was really thrilling to hear her stories. And over the years, Aparna has served in different capacities, by Swami's grace, of course. She served as the center's service coordinator, Manhattan Center service coordinator, and then center president. And later at the regional level, she served as vice president and then president. And now by Swami's grace, she's our national vice president. And it's, I can't help saying it's so nice to have someone from our region that we know, very, friendly, very nice at the national level. So we're very happy for you. Thanks to Swami. And I just have to add what I appreciate most about Sister Aradhana is how through all this she just remains natural, the same person, And it's so nice to see her in this way, whether she's a center member or the national president, whatever, vice president, she remains herself, natural and easy to approach and very comfortable to speak to. And I have to say this. You text her or you message her, and she doesn't fail to get back to you. I mean, almost immediately. So that impresses me. So I'm very happy. Yeah. So I'll just read something here. Her bio, Aradhana feels grateful and blessed to be born into a Sai devotee family. Her grandparents came to Swami in the late 50s. Her personal journey in Swami's fold started in the mid-90s. Since then, she lived in various cities in India and in the U.S. and has been actively involved in the Sri Sathya Sai organization. Irrespective of where she lives, she has been experiencing Swami's constant presence, love, protection, and guidance in her life. Professionally, Aradhana works as a management consultant in New York City and lives in New Jersey with her husband, Neil. So, here's Aradhana. And the title of her talk is My Life is My Message. Saida.
I offer myself and this talk at our beloved Swami's lotus feet, and I pray that he inspires all my thoughts and words. Sai Ram, dear brothers and sisters. Like Lizette mentioned, this is home. So I feel like I'm just having satsang with my family on a regular Thursday. It's not going to be a big talk, but just sharing, and we'll all interact together and reflect on this very sacred occasion. I was thinking about the word Aradhana, and the meaning for this word is worship, but not just worship filled with love, with gratitude, and with reverence. And Swami has given us so much throughout his life. Gratitude, our love, our reverence. Each one of us have a way of honoring our Guru. Do you honor Swami? Anybody? Yes, sister?
Today, I'm really conscious of what you do. In every step what you do, you kind of try to realize and kind of take an extra second to make sure that we do it the right way. So pretty much consciously living as much as you can. It's hard as a human being, but that's the way I look at life. And sometimes it's not that easy. It's not that easy to be conscious like every moment, like, and sometimes you do something wrong, I'm like, oops. And then, sorry, Swami, wasn't intentional. Yeah, so that's
wonderful.
Yeah.
Conscious living, right? And that awareness, even if you're making a mistake, having that awareness is something that matters, right? That constant integrated awareness that Swami talks about. Anybody else would like to share anything?
Sairam, thank you. I would say that by being aware and projecting my divine love, which it doesn't happen every single moment of my life, but being aware that I'm a divine love and trying to express it, but of course, sometimes sometimes I don't get to that point.
Being aware, living with awareness, being conscious, being aware. Beautiful answers. Anybody else? Anybody from the brother's side? Don't be shy. I'm going to call on names. This is home, so I'm not going to hesitate. Krishna.
Like Sister Rosalie said, constant integrated awareness, being aware, watching your actions, your thoughts. Mostly for me specifically, constantly paying attention to my thoughts. If it's wandering, if it's not going where it's supposed to go, it's like, oh wait, I need to stop. To constantly remind myself, if Swami is within, Swami is within. I am something within. But if I'm thinking that there's a reason I'm thinking of it, or it's projecting through me, so I have to constantly be aware of it, remind myself, praise Swami, and say, stop, this is not me, this is not who I want to be. It helps.
Great, wonderful. Swami says watch, right? He says watch your words, watch your actions, watch your thoughts, watch your character, watch your heart. Thoughts are the seed for everything else, so being aware of the thoughts is so important. Thank you, Brother, for sharing. Anybody else? Sister Maya, please go ahead.
I took a leaf from another devotee's book, someone who gave a beautiful speech, and I'm sort of in the habit of just talking to Swami through the day. Prayer time is prayer time. That's different. That's focused prayer.
అఖిల మానవులకు ఆనందమును గూర్చి రక్షించుచుండుటే దీక్ష నాకు సన్మార్గమును వీడి కాపాడుటే వ్రతము నాకు వేద సాధనకైన పెను బాధ తొలగించి
further assures us, and I quote, "This means that I will never give up those who attach themselves to me. I will not give up my mission nor my determination. I know I will carry them out." Unquote.
Such a beautiful poem. This poem actually is from a letter that Swami wrote to his brother in 1947 when he was just 21 years old. Imagine the clarity that this 21-year-old has. Right? What clarity that is. And this is his mission statement. Right? And such a beautiful mission statement. What stands out in this mission statement is there's not a drop of selfishness anywhere in that. Right? He's not saying, I want this, I want that. Right? He's saying, I've come to give happiness to all the devotees. I've come to help people who are straying away from the right path. I've come to alleviate the suffering of the poor, right? And I'm here to rescue all those that attach themselves to me. It's pure love, just flowing in abundance. And this was, when he was 21. Just like look at our lives and think about what we had in mind when we were at that age, right? When we were 21. So this is a very, very special being here that we are talking about. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So let's look at Swami's mission right from the beginning. Right? There is a book called Sri Sathya Sai Digvijayam, which talks about the life of the avatar. In that book, each phase of his life is categorized into 16 years. And Swami himself said that he is a Purna avatar, which means divinity in its full glory. It's taken birth with all the attributes and beyond attributes. So the first 16 years of his life is called the Leela phase, or the divine sport, right? His birth itself is a divine sport. Look at the place that he picked. Look at the time that he picked. He picked the most remote village in a part of India that no one knew about. People would describe it as stone's throw away from Stone Age. Right? It was so remote. People had to get there in a bullock cart. There was no mode of transportation. There were no roads. He picked that place. He picked a very humble family. Not wealthy at all. A very humble family, but very pious family. That's what mattered to him, right? The purity of the heart. And the time, 1926, middle of World War. There was chaos everywhere, confusion everywhere. We didn't have social media then, so probably not so much fear and anxiety that causes today. But issues were still there, right? What we're seeing was still happening at that time too. So he picked that time, that place, that family to take birth, only to show us that true potential will shine through no matter where you are, right? There is no restriction of time. You don't have to be affluent. You don't have to be highly educated. You don't need anything but just purity. And that is what his life was all about. So the first 16 years were, just momentous. As a little child, there were a lot of miracles that happened around him. His birth itself was miraculous. Mother Ishwarama said that she did not conceive, but Swami entered her as a blue light and took birth. There were musical instruments playing at the time of his birth. And this little child did not cry when he was born. He was joyful and made everybody around him joyful. He didn't want to harm anybody, not even animals, right? Although he was born in a family that ate meat, he did not want to injure any animals, so he desisted from that. And he always wanted to serve. Little boy, when he was 5, 6 years old, when there were homeless people on the street looking for food, he would gladly give away the food that was set aside for him. And his parents, siblings chided him, hey, you're not going to have anything to eat. And he said, doesn't matter. Gave his food away gladly. Right? And this is just a child. At the age of 10, he started Pandari Bhajan group, a beautiful group that would spread the name of God across the village, across the world. Today we are singing bhajans here in so many different languages, right? He started it when he was 10 years old. And at 14, he actually declared that he was Sai Baba and sang his first bhajan, Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam. That means, O mind, let all the thoughts rest at the Guru's feet. So that means just surrendering everything that we have at his feet. That was his first teaching at the age of 14. That was the first phase of his life, filled with leelas. The next phase of his life is miracles. Right? He declared his mission, and his mission is now unfolding. Right? 47 was when he declared his mission at 21. And everybody thought, what is he talking about? He's a high school dropout. He's in this rural village. He's saying people across the world are going to come. There are going to be crowds here in the village. This small home is not going to be enough to hold people. Let's build a mandir. And people are like, what is he talking about? Look at this. We're so far away from Puttaparthi. He's never traveled outside of India except for one trip that he made in 68 to East Africa, right? But so many people around the world have been tremendously impacted by his message because it's so universal, right? Anybody from any country at any time can relate to it because it's the highest truth. It's pure love. It just touches your heart. No language is necessary. All his discourses were in Telugu, right? Never traveled anywhere, never spoke another language. Not that he didn't know, but he just drew everybody to him. That is the power of love, right? And in this miracles phase, there were two special hallmark miracles that Swami talks about. One is the physical manifestations. One is Vibhuti materialization, hallmark of the Sai avatar. He materialized Vibhuti, not again to display any miraculous powers, but to heal people, to protect them, and to give them solace and comfort. We have Vibhuti at all our meetings, right? Lingodbhavam is another one. Lingams manifested from Swami's body every year. But the first public Lingodbhavam was Shivratri, Mahashivratri. And that was in 1947. That was the first time that he publicly manifested a lingam, and he said that is the symbol of creation. But more than all these miracles, Swami says that the biggest miracle is the miracle of transformation. He says that anything that he lays his eye on is bound to transform. And every person in this room has been a contemporary of Swami, right? We have all walked on this earth when he was here physically. So we've experienced that enormous energy. We may not have seen him, but he was here on earth during our time. Such a rare and special blessing that is. Right? So grateful. How many people can say I've been contemporary of an avatar? Right? We have that rare privilege. Some bragging rights here. Yeah? The next phase of his life, the next 16 years, is the teaching phase or the Upadesh phase. This is the most crucial phase. This is when the teaching started. Not that it didn't have before, but this is the emphasis of these 16 years. This is when he started writing the Vahinis. He wrote the first Vahini, Prema Vahini, during that time. He traveled to every little corner of India. If you read Satyam Shivam Sundaram, his autobiography, which was written during his lifetime, you will see that every single day he was in a different city. Not for pleasure, not for just, fun travel, right? He was meeting devotees. He was responding to their prayers. He was starting projects. He was alleviating suffering of the poor. He was giving darshan, comforting so many people, inspiring lives. That's what he did. He also established the first Seva Samiti in 1961. Now, this is a very important thing. We'll come back to this a little bit later. But this establishment, this organization that he started during that time, it is the lifeblood for all of us, right? We're all able to connect to his message, to practice his teachings, to share inspiration, to do seva, to conduct classes for children, to have young adult programs, so many things because of this great blessing of the organization that he started during that time. Again, we'll talk more about that. The next 16 years of his life, education. He could have established hundreds and thousands of universities across the world, right? Like nothing stopped him from doing that. He could have done fundraising and said, hey, I need money. People would just come and do that, right? But that was not the motive. Swami was so against fundraising. The schools, the colleges that he built were built with contributions that were made with a lot of devotion and faith. Not by him asking, but people just offering as gratitude, right? And he set these institutes up free of cost, right? From kindergarten to post-graduation, everything is free of cost. And best quality education, right? We see students everywhere doing so well. We have 2 speakers coming to the retreat that have been touched by these institutions. And these institutions were set up to be role models for everyone to emulate how service should be done. It's not the money, it's the intent that matters. It's the purity of purpose that matters, right? The next phase was medical phase. Again, he set up 2 role model hospitals, one in Puttaparthi, one in Bangalore, in Whitefield. They're temples of healing. My family has been beneficiaries of that grace. It's so commercial outside, right? Like hospitals, healthcare has become so commercial. Everything is like money. But these hospitals serve freely, just with volunteers helping out from across the world. Again, role models so that we can emulate them. For this special project that he inaugurated on his birthday, the super specialty hospital in Puttaparthi, Swami actually mentions a story that there was a child that saved money that the parents were giving, put it into an envelope and gave it to Swami for the hospital. It's a very meager amount. And he took that amount and he said, I accept anything that's being given with love, even if it's a small penny. But he's turned down big donations, millions of dollars, and said, no, this is not coming with right intent. So fundraising is never part of his mission. It's the purity of intent again, the yearning to serve and do good for the society around us. And then the last 16 years of his life is promoting righteous way of living. And he's done that by being an example. He's dealt with physical ailments, but that did not deter him from doing anything. Even in a wheelchair, he was so gracious, coming out for darshans every day, talking to people, sharing his love, giving interviews, giving Pad Namaskar. If we just have a little fever, we want to rest, right? Just want to stay home, not engage with anybody. But look at him. My life is my message. And this is all like sacred gifts for humanity. Each phase of his life has many, many gifts for us that we are just enjoying today. Let's go to the next slide, please. So as I mentioned, the teaching phase is a very important phase because that's when he set up the organization. In the history of mankind, there were many avatars. Rama avatar, Krishna avatar, Lord Jesus Christ, Lord Buddha, Prophet Muhammad. They have all furthered their mission through their disciples, through their devotees. Organizations were set up later. There were no organizations in the lifetime of these other avatars. But during Swami's time, he set up the organization himself. He gave it his name, beautiful name, nurtured it with his guidance, personal guidance, appointed people personally to the roles, guided them. And for 85 years of his life, he kept nurturing them. Right? The seeds were planted, the plant was nurtured. And we are all benefiting from the fruits today. So this is a very sacred opportunity that we have that no other avatar has ever provided to mankind. It is an opportunity to be part of his mission, to be part of something that he started. How fortunate are we? Right? There's so many centers across the world doing enormous amount of good work. There's chaos around us, but our centers are doing bhajans, doing chanting. We had Rudram chanting today. All the divine energy, divine vibrations are being sent everywhere to purify the atmosphere. That is huge seva. We talked about Bowery Seva that's been going on for decades in Manhattan, every Saturday, rain or shine. Right? Food Seva. There's the hospital seva with the Kolar Hospital that happens in Manhattan. Many centers are doing something every single day, right? Children are being educated on human values to be better citizens for the future. Or youth have a YA program to keep them connected, to make them feel that they have a support system here. Right? We have so much. So this is not something to take lightly. This is a blessing of lifetimes. And Swami has said that anyone who serves in the organization that he has set up will be liberated from the cycles of birth and death. Not only them, but their family members, their children, their grandchildren, and great-grandchildren will also be liberated. That is a very unique blessing, a rare opportunity, so let's not take that lightly. Okay? So, I've been asked to share some personal experiences, and I was thinking, where should I start? And I asked Lizette, how much time do I have? How much time do we have, Lizette?
As much as you want.
30 minutes? Perfect, yep. So I just wanted to share something about my roots in the Sai organization. And the center has a lot to do with it. So, my roots are here. This is home. And I'm just truly grateful and honored and humbled to be speaking on such a sacred occasion at my home center with my family members. So I'm truly grateful for the opportunity. And I just wanted to share that this story is also tied to Aradhana Day. So Swami had a big role in bringing me to this center. And it was very, very evident. I did not understand it at that point, but it was a series of events that led me to being here. So I'll just start with that story. I was in Chicago. I lived there. I went to school in Illinois. And after I graduated, I got a job in Chicago, and I was in Chicago. And I would attend the center there. As any young adult, I was busy establishing my career. So I would just go to the center, sit at the back, enjoy bhajans. If there's an opportunity, maybe if I have time, do some seva, right? And I was traveling a lot for my job. So there was one seva that I could do. I lived in the city, and the center was in the suburbs. And there was a seva project that would take place in the city. So every week when I went to the center, they made sandwiches, and the shelter was in the city. So they would ask me, Aparna, do you mind dropping off the sandwiches? And I said, happy to do that, because it's right near home, and I was coming to the center anyway. So that was the only seva that I did, drop off the sandwiches, and then just disappear. Right? I was so focused on kind of building my career, but the connection with Swami was always there. And the support at the center, just being there, that energy, that presence, having, company of the young adults, that made a huge difference. I never felt alone because of that. So that was happening. My sister was in Kentucky at that time, and she had an opportunity to get an admission in New York City at NYU in the dental school. So she was going to move here. And her whole goal of doing dentistry here was to get an opportunity to serve in Swami's hospital in India. Because when she applied after undergrad in India, they said, no, we have a lot of experienced doctors and we have a huge wait list. So, we're not able to take you. Then she thought, okay, maybe if I go get more experience, opportunity will open up. So she got, she was doing her master's in Kentucky, and then she applied for a doctorate program here in NYU. She got in. She was going to move here. My job was a traveling job. So I could live anywhere. And she said, if I'm going to move to New York City, why don't you also move? You could work out of anywhere. So I thought it's not a bad idea, and I have family here. My aunt is here, my cousins are here. So I thought it would be good to move out east. So I decided to move. I applied for a transfer in my company, and they granted me the transfer, and they said you can work out of anywhere. So I moved here. I was about to move here. Right when I was about to move, my sister gets a letter from the General Hospital in Puttaparthi saying that, hey, you've applied 6 years ago, and we put you on hold. A slot opened up. Can you come and report in 15 days? And she was like, the whole purpose of going to NYU to do this doctorate program was to get to Swami's hospital. So if this door opens up, why not? So she dropped everything. In 15 days, she moved back to Puttaparthi. And I'm standing here looking at my packed baggage and boxes in my apartment, and I'm scratching my head wondering, what am I doing? But the transfer already went through, and I was going to move here. I have a project here. I had a start date. So I thought, okay, maybe there is some purpose to this. Let me move. I didn't know where to move to. So I called my family members and my friends who lived in Jersey. My job was in downtown Manhattan. I had no idea. I would visit Manhattan for work, but I didn't know where to live or anything. So I was just looking for suggestions. And my family and my friends shared that live in central Jersey. You could take the train. You could take NJ Transit to the city. It's an easy commute. My whole life, I always lived close to where I work. Whether I was in school, whether I was in Chicago. I traveled for work, but my office was just quick 15-minute commute, right? So I was used to that, and I was used to living in the city. So this was something else, right? So I moved. I told them, find a place for me, and let me know where I should live, and I'll move. So they found this town in central Jersey called Metuchen. And they found this cute apartment. It was on top of a bookstore, and it was just a 5-minute walk from the train station. So I shipped everything here. I had a car. My cousin came, and both of us just drove the car down. And I arrived here. And then I was settling into this place in Metuchen. And I would commute to work every day. And it was hard, because my commute was 15 minutes. This commute, I would take NJ Transit to Newark, then take the PATH train, get off at World Trade Center, walk to Battery Park, which was like a 20-minute walk. It was my daily thing. Mornings, it was fine. I would get on the express train at 7. I would get to the city by 8:15 or 8:30, an hour, 20 minutes or so. Night, my work sometimes would run late. So I would leave work around 7-ish, wouldn't get home like till 8:30, 9. So I felt like I was just getting up, getting on the train, working, getting on the train, getting off, sleeping. That's all I was doing. The closest center at that time to where I lived was the Edison Sai Center. And at that time, they met on Wednesdays in a Jewish temple. And by the time I got home, I was tired, and the center would meet at like 7:30. So by the time I got home, I drove there. They were almost closing. Right? So I hardly had an opportunity to go to the center. And I was just missing the good company, the vibrations, the Sai family a lot. Weekends, I was just spending time with family. And sometimes the center had weekend programs, so I would attend them once in a while, but it wasn't the same. And I was praying to Swami, what is this? My life just seems like so meaningless. I'm like always on the move. and there's no purpose to my life. And this was happening for almost a few months. Couple of months, I had this prayer to Swami all the time, I just want to be in the midst of Sai. Help me, Swami. But then I would get sucked into my daily routine, and then, that thought would vanish, and then I would sit over the weekends and mull over it again. So this kept happening. One day we had a dinner in the city, and this was Swami's play. The Leelas start here, right? So there was a retirement. One of my colleagues was retiring, so we had a dinner for her. I attended the dinner, and I got home very late. I took the train back. It was not the express train, too many stops. Got home like probably 10:30, 11-ish. And I was walking up the stairs, exhausted. I go to my door, and something doesn't seem right. And my mind is not able to process it. I'm standing there just staring at the door, still not able to process it. So I feel like something's wrong here. Then I go and ring the bell of my neighbor. This very nice gentleman next door. And he was surprised. He was like, everything okay? And I said, I don't know. I feel something is off here. I need your help. So he just stepped out and he looked and he said, oh my God. And he said, come inside. Got me a glass of water and he said somebody tried to break in. So the door had a dent and there were pieces of wood on the floor, but somehow the door was stuck. It wouldn't open. So somebody tried to break in. And I was just new. I was just probably 2 months into my stay there. So I was just freaked out. So I said, don't worry, just sit here. He called the cops and he said, if you want to call family or friends, call them. So I called everybody. My friends came over. They lived close by, so they came over. And then, the cops said, I don't know how the door didn't open. And they looked at it, and there was a latch from the inside. So when they hit the door hard, that latch slid and jammed into the wooden frame and prevented the door from opening. So they said, some angels are protecting you. Somebody couldn't get in. So I thanked Swami. And that night, to get into my apartment, they had to take the door apart. There were no carpenters, so I didn't have a door that night. And my friends were all there, so they said, we'll take turns. You go sleep. So everybody was there, and we stayed up all night. Next day morning, they came, fixed it. And I just didn't feel good. And then the cops came back next day, and they said, do you have a car? I said, yes. And they said, did you change the registration? I said, no, it still has the Illinois registration. So they said somebody was keeping a watch. They saw you driving an Illinois car, so they probably knew you were new. They said, your blinds are up. I said, yeah, sometimes I leave them up, and maybe somebody watched that you were living alone. And they said, do you have any jewelry at home? I said, not much, but a little. I said, maybe that's what they came for, That could have been it. So they said they're not going to come back now because they know that we're going to keep a watch. So that incident happened, and I was a little freaked out, and I was like, Swami, what's going on? That was the first thing. Warning, right? Didn't pay attention to it. Next, another weird thing happened. I had this elderly lady who was like family to me. She would come and cook food over the weekends because I was so tired and I just needed some help. So she was very, very kind. And she would stay with me over the weekend sometimes. So she came, she made food, and she said, oh, my son got engaged. I got the little video from him, do you want to watch it? So we stayed up, watched that video all through the night, slept very late. Morning I woke up, she was still sleeping. and I walk into the living room. There's a bird flying in the living room. And I was just so freaked out. I was like, where did this bird come from? All the doors were closed, all the windows were closed, but there was a big bird flying across the home. And I just like ran into my bedroom, shut the door. And then slowly peeked. It was still flying. I was not imagining things. So the next bedroom next to mine was where the auntie was sleeping. So I went into that room, closed the door again, and I woke her up. She's like, what happened? So I said, there's a bird. She's like, what bird? I was like, there's a bird flying in the apartment. She's like, how did that doesn't make any sense. So she says, I'm not afraid. You stay here. I'm going to go look. So she opens the door. She goes out. She actually opens the living room door and she gets the bird out and then closes the door. But the bird is stuck on the stairs, so they had to call like animal services to get the bird out of the building. But super freaky. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to live here. But still, I'm still very dense. It's not sinking in that Swami is giving some message, right? I'm like, okay, I have the lease. Let's see how it goes. Another incident. I go to work, come back. My blender was plugged in. Somehow I think the circuit goes off or something and it runs. There's nothing in it. So it heats up so much that it melts and all the little pieces, glass, everything splatters across the whole kitchen. I come back and there's like this smell of something burning. Luckily there was no fire, but there were like pieces everywhere. I was like, this is too freaky. And I'm like, Swami, do something. Do something, do something. I was praying. And then November comes around, and it's the time for general election. And my project at that time was with the Board of Elections, and it was the Obama election. And, our company had the opportunity to do the procurement of all the voting machines and do some like quality and, such on election day. So we had this duty on election day that started at 5 in the morning and that went through results time, which is midnight. So our lead said, why don't you just get a hotel, all of you, and just stay in the city. So we were looking, it was Fashion Week also around that time, so there were no hotels and they were outrageously priced. So we were looking for other options, and I found this DoubleTree Hotel in Newport in Jersey City. I didn't know what this area was, never been there, never heard about it. So I thought, okay, this looks reasonable, let me stay here. So I booked. We finished election duty at 12:30 at night, went to the hotel, it was like 1 a.m. And, my boss said, you don't have to come in the morning, come whenever you want, you guys worked hard. So I slept in, woke up in the morning, it was late, looked out of the window, beautiful like Hudson River, and I could see New York on the other side. And I was like, oh my God, this is so close to work. I wonder what this area is. So I had time to come to work, so I thought, let me walk around. So I crossed the street, and there's this apartment complex called Avalon. So I just go into the leasing office and just get a tour, and it's beautiful. It was slightly pricey, and it had no parking. Parking was very expensive. Parking was like $300 a month. I was like, rent maybe, parking is expensive. I don't think I can handle this. But I was thinking, my commute is expensive, so I can subsidize with that for the rent. But what do I do about parking? So I talked myself out of it. I walked to the train station. It was 5 minutes away. Took the train, 15 minutes to work. And I felt so good. I was like, I have a life. I was like, how am I going to make this work? What am I going to do with my car? So I visit my friend that weekend in Princeton. They wanted me to come over. So I spent the weekend with them, and I went shopping with my friend. And we were coming back. We were in the parking lot, coming back. And I promise I have a point. This is not a random story, by the way. I'm going to get to the point before my time. So we get to the car, and my friend is sitting in the driver's seat, and I was driving. We were in the parking lot, so we were driving very slowly. I was making a turn. Suddenly, a car comes, high speed, just crashes into our car, and I just was in shock. So we just pull over, and we're waiting. Call the cops, and the airbags were out, and just my neck was sore. My friend was okay. I was okay. Nothing happened. So she said, you sit in the car, I'm just going to get down. And she got down and she said, just stay in, don't get down. Then we called the cops. We called, her family members came in. The car was a total wreck. So Swami took my car away. The car was the only thing that was holding me back from moving. So he took it away. I was so mad at that time, but I was super grateful. And I got full price and more because it was not my fault. Somebody hit me. So, walked away with good money, safe, most importantly, and without a car. So now I have no reason not to move. So I moved. And this was in March of 2011, right before Aradhana time. And I moved, and I started looking for a center. And I found the website, and I went to the center. And I actually met Brother Hemant there. And he said, "Oh, are you in Newport? There's so many devotees there. Let me introduce you to all of them." He's the connector, right? So he connected me to 10 people on the same day. I'll never forget that. Thank you, Brother Hemant. So I came to the center, and actually coming to the center, I looked up the website, but I was still not not going to the center. Another thing happened. My sister was working in General Hospital at that time, and there was a devotee from Manhattan, a family from Manhattan, Rajiv Sani uncle and his daughter Geeta Sani. If you know them, they come to the center. So they were in Parthi at that time. They would go to the mandir every day. Swami had appeared in Geeta's dream and asked her to come to Parthi. So she was there doing seva. And because she was doing seva in the mandir, she got seated with the doctors and with the guests. So she sat next to my sister. Random, right? And they just struck up a conversation, and she says, I'm visiting from Manhattan. And she says, "Oh, my sister, just moved there, And she's like, "Oh, she should come to the center." And then she shares information. So there was push from a lot of sides for me to come to the center. So the center is a very, very special place for me. It's home. Swami made me come here at the most difficult of time. When he left his physical form, if I did not have this family, this support, I would have gone crazy. So it just helped me deal with the loss of the physical form. Not that Swami is not present. His energy is so palpable. His presence is always there. Was experiencing it all along. But the center held a very special place in my heart because it helped me cope with that very tough transition. This is where my roots are. Swami made me come here just in time. Not only that, I would come to the center, and when Swami left his physical form, there was a huge void. Connection with Swami was there, but I felt something else had to be done. And I kept praying, "Swami, make use of me. Give me purpose. Give me purpose. Help me do something. I don't know what it is." I would come to the center. I would just sit at the back, fold a few chairs every week, meet with people, go home. But this prayer was there, this yearning was there that, I want to be of some help to you, Swami. I know I cannot help him. It's more helping myself. But this intense prayer. And then one of the Thursdays, as I was about to leave, Sister Faith comes to me and she says, there is a library at the center that we have not been running for the last several months. Would you like to help with that? So I said, sure. And that's how I got involved in doing something. So, it's so important to give people an opportunity at the centers. She asked me, and that opened up doors. And here I'm standing here today, serving in the organization in many roles because of that one act of love that somebody reached out and said, would you like to help? And that gave me purpose. I started with that library seva. We would put a cart out every week with the beautiful books of Swami. People would check them out, bring them back in. Then after that, I had the opportunity to serve at the center in other capacities. And the first talk that I ever gave that Sister Lizette mentioned was in 2012. I didn't know how to speak. I was trembling. I was telling everybody, I'm so nervous, I don't know what to say. And Swami appears in my dream and he says, aren't you ashamed of saying that you're afraid of speaking about your mother and father? You call me mother, you call me father, and aren't you ashamed of saying that? And then I said, okay, Swami, from now onwards, I'm never going to say that. So it's truly He that works through us, that inspires everything, and He is everything that we ever have. So I'm grateful for those roots here at the center. I'm grateful for all the love. I'm grateful for all the opportunity that Swami has bestowed upon me through the center and through all of you. And I hope we can share that with others, especially newcomers. Please get involved. There'll always be a reason not to. But once we make ourselves available, everything flows. And we can see His hand. It's just for our own transformation. That has been my experience. I learned so much over the years. Whatever I learned at the center, I could apply at work. Whatever I learned at work, I could bring it here. So it's just, Swami says there's no separation. So I had the opportunity to experience all of that. And the learning continues. The growth continues. The camaraderie continues. And the impact of Swami on all our lives continues. So I'm truly ever so grateful to Swami for this opportunity to reflect on Him and His love on this very sacred day. And thank you all. Jai Sai Ram.
Sit down. Thank you, Sister Aradhana, for reminding us of the beautiful journey of our beloved Swami. For reminding us that our Swami will never forsake or disappoint us by holding Him absolute faith and love in our hearts. And your beautiful journey, from the biggest journey to the smallest undertaking, He's always with us, protecting us. Thank you again, Sister Aparna, for always being Swami's instrument for us. Sathya.
Aradhana, that was wonderful talk. Thank you. And we would like to offer you a certificate of appreciation from the Manhattan Center with deep gratitude and loving appreciation. Let me just read this. For your selfless dedication, inspiring leadership, and unwavering devotion in service to Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba and his mission. Your tireless work uplifts our communities, spreads love, and brings joy to countless lives. We are truly grateful for your continued guidance and support. So, and Sister Monica.
Thank you.
And Sister Chandra.
Oh my God. Thank you.
And from all of us, we give thanks to Sister Brahma. So we will move to closing prayers.